Hi, it's Sarah here from Crafting and Stamping, and I'm back with one of my quick cards. Now for my quick card today, I'm using the Tulip Fields stamp set. I'm featuring the full bundle of the stamps and dies this week, but for my quick card, I'm just going to use the stamp set. And I've just got a limited range of ink pads here. I'm going to be using Blushing Bride with Flirty Flamingo. The Old Olive is an optional one. I'll show you why in a bit. And I'm also going to be using Memento Black. So I've chosen these two because they tone well together. We've got Flirty Flamingo and Blushing Bride. So we're getting a couple of pinks. I've used Blushing Bride for the card base, and this is an A6 portrait card base. I'm just going to put that to one side for the moment. And we've got a card layer of 5.5 by 3 7/8 inches in basic white. Now, I'm going to be stamping with this, and I just wanted to show you. So this gives you some tulips, and let me bring in one that I've already done in a different colour to show how this works. So this provides your horizon line, and then we've got another one here that is the ones that you're going to use to create the images in the middle here. So that's a great one that we're going to use, but I just wanted to show how we pick this up. And we've got the little windmill. We'll just put that to one side because you want to make sure that you get this straight. It's very bendy, this piece, so you really just want to make sure that you've got it on a straight line. So I'm putting it on my grid paper and then getting a block to pick it up. Now, because I'm going to use it this way, it doesn't matter if my block isn't big enough to go all the way to the edges. This is a H block. I really should be using an I block, but at the moment I can't find my I block. That's because I'm busy doing a lot of rearranging because we're about to get the new catalogue. So at the moment I'm all at 6s and 7s while I move out some of my retiring items. So I'm going to go with the darker colour for this horizon line. The reason that I put the windmill out is just so that I can work out roughly where I want this horizon line to be. I want to make sure there's enough room for my windmill. So I don't want to be doing this up all the way up here and then chopping off my windmill, not having enough room for it all to fit on. So if I just place my windmill on there, then I can pop where I want the horizon line to be. I'm actually going to pop it a little bit lower, like that. Really, I should have my mat underneath. And where was my mat gone? We'll manage without this time. You will get a better impression if you've got a mat underneath. So those that watch me regularly know how much I love my deluxe mat. So I'm going to get this inked up, and like I say, it doesn't matter too much that it's going off the sides because we're not inking all that way. Where did I have that? Let's just pop that on. Yes, that's fine. So I'm now going to get that lined up on my grid paper, and I'm going to stamp this in a nice line like that. Fairly central, but you don't have to go central if you don't want. You can go to one side or the other. So there is my first one. Now I'm going to use, that's that one used. The rest of the tulips are going to be done with this one. So I'll leave that ink pad open because we're going to use it again. But for in the middle, I'm going to use the Blushing Bride. So I'm going to get this inked up, and this is quite a pale pink. Move that out of the way. And all I'm going to do is stamp this centrally so the little point goes right between the two, like that. And we've got a nice pale pink down there. Now, because I've used the pale pink, I don't need to worry too much about using a darker pink over the top. If you'd used a darker pink, a darker colour here, you'd need to scrub your stamp in between. I can get away with it because I'm using a darker one. So I'm going to ink that up, and I'm going to stamp this, and I'm just lining up, getting it kind of edge to edge with that first one, and stamping that again. And I'm going to re-ink it and stamp it again over this side. And I might not be getting these quite straight, but it won't matter too much if they're not entirely straight. So I'm going to ink this again, and I should probably have a wipe handy to get the rest of this ink off the block, but I can get away with it. So I'm going to just lightly stamp that. I'm not pressing hard, I'm just taking some of the ink off, and then stamping up in that gap there, like that. Being careful not to press down where my inky bit is. And that just gives us a slightly lighter colour in between. So same thing, get it inked up entirely. Press off lightly, don't press down too hard unless you want a really pale colour. But this just takes you kind of in between that Flirty Flamingo and the Blushing Bride. And there we have our Tulip Fields. Not perfect, but not bad. So move those to one side. Now I'm going to grab my windmill, and I'm just going to use Memento Black for this. You could go with a brown, you could go with a blue, you know, whatever you like. And I'm just going to stamp this on that horizon line there, like that. Next, I'm going to stamp the birthday sentiment. Probably have done with doing that a little bit lower. So I'm going to, I've picked this from the, what's it called? Peaceful Moments set. So I'm just going to stamp my sentiment there, and we can add, there's a couple of little stamps, there's a larger one here and the small trees here, and this is where I said it's an optional because I'm bringing in the old olive for these trees here and just stamping these, and I'm going to stamp them here on the horizon line on that side, and just have a couple coming off to the side on that side, like that. And that is my card front. So all we're going to do now, being careful not to smudge the ink that we've got, is I'm just going to grab my seal and run that along. Just be careful to lift it and turn it so that I don't smudge. And then we're going to adhere that to our Blushing Bride card front, a little bit of practice with the fields makes perfect. But this is a card that you can do pretty quick, and you can do it in colours to suit the person you're sending it to. So if you know they like pinks, you can go with the pinks. If you know that they like something more reds or something, then you can go for something like this. This is a different sentiment from one of the celebration sets we had earlier in the year. You can see I managed to get my windmill a bit better placed closer to the horizon line. But you're just using, like I say, the horizon line flowers for the first bit. Then I recommend that you do the centre triangle before placing your other couple of triangles. So I hope that that's given you an idea of how we can do a quick card with this sentiment, with this stamp set, the Tulip Fields stamp set. And I'm going to be using also the dies that come with this later in the week. So please stop by my blog for that. And if you would, please subscribe below to see a quick card every Monday and a quick tip every Friday. Thanks for stopping by.